and away we go. Y'all check this out. So there's my oil filter. Y'all see that milk right there? Oh yeah, I done it. So I ran it in, me and Rachel, and I cranked it up, ran it, set the time on it. Came back out a couple nights later, fired the engine up, and I let it run and let it get up to good, good enough temperature. Got it up to like 180 degrees. And I was sitting there watching it, and I saw what looked like smoke coming out my breathers. And I said, I said, got some blow by there. I really shouldn't be seeing that. And I went over and I smelled it. My heart sank because it wasn't smoke, it was steam. And so at that point, I knew I had water in my oil. Car was totally up to temperature and everything. Oil pressure was fine. Shut it off right then. Got it up, throw the oil pan underneath it, and quickly got the oil plug loose so that I could get it draining while it was good and hot. And got a mess on the floor and everything because it just filled up the oil pan and just kept on running. And then I turned the oil pan over. It's just been a disaster. I believe that I bumped the head against the steel shim head gasket. Let me show you right here. Do you see that little black line right across the fire ring right there? So what I think is I think I had copper coated and everything. I put this on, and I think in the process of putting the head on, like a sharp edge on the head or something, I had to have touched it. I had to have bumped it. I can't see any other way it happened. But the end result, that little line across there went from a water port right here across the fire ring, pumped cylinder 1 full of water, and I think what happened was me and her ran it that day. And so we ran it that day and everything was fine because it wasn't, it's not like it was leaking to the outside, and it probably wasn't enough. Like I wasn't overpowering the radiator system, blowing water out, nothing like that. And so I ran it that day and I cut it off. And then the next time I ran it, it had sat there and that water, the pressure on the system from the first time had filled up and the water had worked down through the rings and everything, had gotten in the crankcase, and then turned around and I fired the engine up, and now I've got water all in it at that point. And so, then the steam, of course, once the engine got up to temperature, it started cooking that water off in the oil. I started having the steam come out and everything, and it has made milk everywhere. It is a mess. And let me show you. I've already pulled one of my valve covers here. I've already got the head off, had water standing on top of the cylinder. And if you follow me on Facebook, on Dirt Race Life, I've got the link in the description, and you can follow us on Facebook, because I put some pictures sometimes in between episodes. So I have already put a picture showing that water on top of that cylinder, because I was just that day. I was like, well, it is what it is. Let me go ahead and just own this. So I went ahead and put a picture out there. And then for those of y'all that are members and sponsor us at $5 a month or more on the channel, we make every effort to try to put the videos out to our members just as quick as we get done with them, while we're still doing stuff like descriptions and thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. We just go ahead, and once they're loaded up, we put them out. So if you are a member too, go check us out there, because we're loading the videos up early there, and then we're putting in some extra information and pictures and what's going on behind the scenes, all kind of stuff. I've been trying to really work. Okay, so you can see what it's done. So here's the problem. So now I have got this melted marshmallow cream everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. And that's a problem. Now, the right way, when you've gotten water into your engine, into your oil system like this, the right way is to tear everything down, pull it, start over from scratch. You got to go all the way down to all your components, clean every component, the whole 9 yards. That is the right way to do it. Rachel won't get to run if I do that, because I'm at a point in time this spring that we have got to put our crate racing engine together. And so if I was going to have to pull this engine and go through that process on it, that's going to put her out of commission. And she's really excited and she's ready to go learn how to drive. So we're just going to make this thing happen here. And so how are we going to do that? Well, that's why I got this episode. You know, you see it, good, bad, wrong, right, indifferent, whatever it is. Here it is. So we got some diesel. We've already pulled the oil filter off because you see it here. I put the oil pan plug back in it after I've drained it. And away we go. So we're going to pour diesel. Just like that. And we may do this a couple of times. So we're going to pour it in. And I'm going to take a blow gun. And I got some brake line here. Let me see if I can't get me a blow tip here working. Can you see what we're doing here? Literally. We're going to get it, hopefully that diesel sloshing, so it's getting as much of that water as it can, that any of it that was sitting up on the sides or anything, knocking it down. We're going to drain it out. All right. Good old mobile Delvat diesel oil 1540 because it's inexpensive. Got some cheap PF47. I always use 1218s, excuse me. But I always use the 1218 oil filters to break stuff in. So we're gonna put some cheap oil filters on it. And we're gonna just fire it off, run the oil until it's good enough to temperature, turn around and drain it, take the oil filter off of it. We're gonna do it, turn around right again, do it again. Now, is this motor damaged or not? It had oil pressure the whole time. The water was there displacing the oil, but it was a mixture going on the whole time. Tons of clearance. So this thing was right around 3,000 on both the rods and the mains. So I had water that's displacing some of the oil. It's a bigger molecule, it's displacing the oil, but I also have a lot more clearance that was in those bearings. That's working in my favor. Yes, it can be damaged, but the motor is maxed out. I can't, like my cross hatches and everything look great anyway. Even now, even on the first one, it had water in it. It looks like I just put it together. And if it's got damage, I'm down anyway, and it was on its last build. And so it's like, that's like, where is your decision coming from to just wash it down like this? Well, that's where it's coming from. Bit more, and I'm going to drain this out the oil plug instead, and we're fixing to put some oil in it and put it together. How could I have not done this? Well, if I had been using head studs, or if I'd had some bolts that had the heads cut off, and I'd had on here to drop that head down on there when I put it on, that would have kept me from doing this. And you know, you get in a rush, y'all, I ain't perfect. You know, get in a rush, you're not paying attention, you know, you make a mistake. I hate it, but we're recovering from it. Okay, I think that is ready for the head gasket. Make darn sure I don't mess this one up. I'm gonna try really hard not to mess this one up. I throwed a couple head studs on there just to make darn sure I didn't do that again. If I can line up on it. There it goes. I know I didn't do it that time. Should have done that every time. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I know I did it. I had to. Have to own your mistakes, right? Okay, let's put the bolts back in, torque it down, get this thing put back together. Yes, I cleaned the push rods out, but this first time we run this thing, we're going to get quite a bit of water out of it. I mean, I expect this oil to kind of like go milky again. So what I'm hoping is that the first time I run the oil in it, it goes milky. I get it good and warm. I drain it out. I won't run it very long, you know, just long enough, like, okay, it's up to temperature, quit, drain the oil out. And then the next time, I'm hoping, like, you know, that time it's like there's not going to be a lot of water in it. I can let it really run, really get good and warm, get that oil, get that water in there. Some of it maybe start percolating out, you know, any residue that's left. That way, after that one, then I can go to race oil. Yeah, that's 3. A little more. Sit right there, be nice. There went that one. Where it rolls, no one knows. All right, I'm getting close now. I did go to my local Napa store and get a new upper radiator hose. I tell you what, that other one, she was looking like she was ready to give up. A little bit long, but yeah, that's gonna work. We're gonna make that work. We are just about ready. I gotta fill it up, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna go ahead and put the distilled water in it this time. I am done working on this thing. No frills. We're just gonna fire it up, set the time, let it get warm, dump the oil right back out of it. Y'all see Tim Nash up there on the tube? That old number 7. They race modifieds, but Tim is like us. He's built, not bought, and they're showing in the shop like how to build stuff or how to do it yourself or like what parts work well together and stuff. It's a whole lot of stuff between modifieds and street stocks that's the same. A lot bigger channel than me, but there's a lot of good content on there. So, old number 7, I'm going to link on this video in the description to it. Check his channel out. They live right up in Missouri, I think. They race it over at Poplar Bluff a lot, and we run up there too. I've watched them run before. So, check them out, y'all. I think we're ready to fire off. No bells and whistles this time. We just need it to run right. You ready to go? Yeah, plenty of oil pressure. Turn that up just a little bit. See if we can't get So I put a cardboard in front of it. I got it up to about 190, 195. Started seeing a little steam in my tubes here, which was telling me my oil is, you know, up enough temperature that like that water is what's left and everything starting to cook out of it. So that means I probably got it as emulsified as I'm going to get it. So let's see how good we did on getting it out in this oil. Y'all, I think we did a pretty good job getting the water out of it. It's no longer clabbered anyway. At first, when I brought it out there, it was like milk that had expired a year ago. I mean, it was bad. But this is just like a light tan. It's not like a thick liquid anymore. Basically, it's just this light brown. You can tell it's got some water in it. but we must have done a pretty good job of getting all the water out the first round. So that is a good sign. I'm gonna put the rest of that diesel oil in there, but what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just leave the plug out of it. I got the car on the I've got the car on the lift with the front end on blocks where it's sitting the motor all the way back at the drain plug. And then too, because I only put like 5 quarts in it, so I wanted to make sure that it was running. I lifted the car up while it was running just to make sure that the oil pump stayed in the oil and everything. But yeah, I think I'm gonna let it drip drain overnight and then put 5 more quarts of oil in it and do the same thing again. Let it get up to like 180 to 200 degrees. And this next time I can let it run longer. I didn't let it run that long because you don't know how much water you've got, you know, that first time. So like once I got up to temperature, I quit and drained it out. But from what I'm seeing right here, that's a good sign. So I think I saved it. Now, do we know for sure? No. We wouldn't know unless we tore it down and inspected and went through it and everything. But I'm trying to put my daughter on the track, so we're gonna run it. And she'll run all she runs, and we'll do what we can do. All right, I hope y'all like this. Like I said, I hated making this episode. I hate this happening, but at the same time, I'm glad to show things are gonna happen. You just gotta suck it up, Buttercup. You know, you gotta, deal with the situation, fix it, move on. And hopefully that's my one big one on an engine for the year, right? Knock on Camaro right there. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed, y'all. You know this is good stuff. See you next time.